guys, welcome back to our channel. It's me, Tia, here with another video. And this video is going to be a little bit more, personal. I'm going to be talking about life after loss and, how I've been coping with anxiety and depression after losing our son, and also with being diagnosed with a panic disorder, and also, just giving you guys the, timeline of the moment I found out, I was pregnant up until the moment that, we lost our son, and what I've been dealing with after losing him. So I'm going to get right into it. So I got pregnant. I don't know when I got pregnant, sometime in October. Found out I was pregnant in November. Took a test. I text my boyfriend like, babe, we need to talk. And what happened? He was asleep at the time. So he woke up later on in the day and he called me like, babe, what's up? Now that I think about it, I should have just called him after I took the test, but whatever. So he's like, babe, what's up? And I'm like, babe, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, okay, so what we gonna do? So, we sat there, we came up with a plan, and, we were preparing to, have this baby. So fast forward, we had our first doctor's appointment in December. I'll insert the sonogram picture here. It was just a little circle, barely developed. So that was our first appointment, and that was like, to give me some packets and stuff. I had to get blood work done and so on and so forth. So fast forward, we had our next appointment where he was a little bit more developed. I want to say I was 8 weeks. I want to say, yeah, I was 8 weeks. I'll insert the picture of that here. I was 8 weeks pregnant. Me and my boyfriend went to this appointment. He didn't come to the first one because it was just one to confirm that I was pregnant. So he came to this appointment. We were both excited to see the baby. We got to hear his heartbeat. My boyfriend was overjoyed. Like, I've never seen him so happy. And it made me happy that he was happy. I was happy. We both were happy. So fast forward to February, we found out what we were having. We found out we were having a little baby boy, and we were both excited. Of course, I wanted a girl at first, but when I found out I was having a boy, I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm gonna have a son. Like, even with a daughter, I'm like, can I deal with another me? And like with my son, I was like, okay, I don't know how to do hair or anything, so I'm like, with a boy, it'll be a little bit easier for me. So we found out what we were having that day, and that same day his dad got married. So we went to our appointment earlier in the day, and then the afternoon his father got married. So it was just a day of joy. Fast forward to March. So March the 20, I want to say 20th or 21st. I don't remember which day exactly. It was a Friday. I had one of my 4-week checkups. So I went and I told the nurse that I saw, because I didn't see my regular OBGYN. I told this nurse I had been experiencing some watery like discharge. So she's like, oh, it's normal. Nothing to be worried about. You're 22 weeks. Hormones are flowing, blood is flowing different. It's okay. Come Sunday, I'm sorry. Come Sunday, I'm having these cramps. Don't know what they are. Uncomfortable for me to sleep. So I'm like, okay, So Monday morning comes around. I'm in pain. Like, I'm having these cramps from my back to my front. Come to find out, these were really contractions. So I'm saying cramps. So at this point, between Sunday night and Monday morning, I was having contractions. Didn't know it. So I was like, okay, I need to call my doctor. Before I knew I was having contractions, because I didn't find that out until I went to the ER a few hours later. But I'm like, okay, let me call the OBGYN office. So I called. They're like, okay, we're gonna have a nurse call you back. Never, this nurse calling back didn't happen until a few hours after I already went to the ER and after everything, started happening. So, rewind back. I'm sitting at my desk, and these pains started coming every 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I think I need to go to the emergency room. So I drove myself to the emergency room. I get there, they sent me straight to labor and delivery. So they, checked me in, took my temperature and everything. So at this point, they're doing a exam on me. If you're a lady, then you know what I'm talking about. They're doing an exam, and that's when they found out that my water was broke. She came back like, oh, this is fluid from, the sac. And I'm like, okay. I text my mom, like, get here. And that was it. She got there. And, by the grace of God, my OBGYN was the one that was on call that day. So he already knew, everything about me. And, I've been going to him since I was 16. So it's a bit more, comfortable for him to be there rather than another OBGYN from the practice to be there, because I hadn't met any of them. That was the next round, of my appointments, was to start meeting all the OBGYNs in the practice. So he comes in like, what's going on. So we talk about everything, they're like, okay, we're going to do tests. So then he comes back and he's like, okay, we're going to move you to the delivery room, because at this point I'm having contractions back to back to back. They give me this antibiotic and I hadn't ate. So they gave me this, I throw it all back up. And mind you, that was the most painful throwing up I've ever, done in my life, because I'm 22 weeks pregnant. My stomach is sticking out. I'll insert some pictures here of what, what size I was, at 22 weeks. So they moved me to the room. He comes back in. He lets me know everything, like, oh, we need you to be able to go to at least 23 weeks to give you the shot. And if and if you, what did he say? I'm trying to think of it, verbatim. He was like, you need to be 23 weeks to get the shot to develop the baby's lungs. I was only 22 weeks at the time. So I'm like, okay, maybe, we can hold out, I don't know, because all these thoughts were going through my mind. But then that's when they came back and was like, okay, you have an infection. We need to get him out of there ASAP. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So at this point, I'm panicking. I'm crying uncontrolled. Like, I am to the point of screaming. My mom is standing there. She's crying because it's natural. This is her grandson. This is me, her daughter. She has to experience me going through all of this stuff. So it's just a lot. So at this point, I'm also texting my boyfriend too to keep him updated. So because he couldn't be there, because only one person could be with you right now in the hospital. So texting him back and forth, calling him, and trying to keep him updated while also trying to keep myself calm, because I'm still having these contractions. So then they induced my labor. At this point, these contractions are out of this world. So I'm just like, okay, Tia, calm down. You can do this. So I calmed down, and then it's time to push. So I pushed 4 times. He came out. When he came out, they laid him on my chest. At this point, he was still living. So 5/26, he was born. And he's laying there, I could feel him moving. I could feel, hear his heart beating. And then, the nurse was taking his heartbeat every, I want to say, 5 minutes or so. That's what it seemed like to me. And at 5:46, that's when he took his last breath. So, I held him on me until he took his last breath, which, was a bit overwhelming, but I wanted him with me. So they took him, for a little while. They did bring him back to me, but they took him for a little while to take professional pictures. I'll insert the pictures here, and of course to do his footprints and everything. And the pictures were beautiful, as you just saw. Like, I love them. I'm actually getting a painting done of one of the pictures real soon. I found somebody to do that for me, so I'm really excited about that. But I ended up having to, after delivering him, I ended up having to, stay in the hospital for a few days, because I had an infection, of course, but then I ended up getting an abscess on my breast. Huge. They had to stick 2 needles in my breast and like pull the what do they call the stuff? I don't know what they call the stuff that it is, but they was pulling, it was whatever the infection was, pulling it out with these needles. Mind you, they didn't numb me or anything. Stuck them in, pulled it out, was out the room. So, I kept my son's body with me for 2 days. So Monday night, Tuesday, they took him Tuesday afternoon. And, that was a way for me to, deal with everything. Everybody wouldn't want, their baby's deceased body in the room, but that was something that I needed to do for my sanity, like to wake up and see him there. Although, he was no longer with us, I still needed to, see him. So I did let them take him after a while. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Y'all can take him. So then my boyfriend ended up being able to come to the hospital. And I thank God for that, because, I had this nurse who was like, oh, where's the dad? And I'm like, he can't come because of everything going on right now. And she was like, call him. Tell him to come. I'll act like he was never here. So I called him, like, babe, come to the hospital now. So, he stayed with me for a few hours. And, we needed each other at that time. So I was very grateful for that, just being with him. So I ended up being in the hospital Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Wednesday, I happened to come across a not so nice doctor. So she's the OBGYN at the practice that I go to, but I've never met her. So she comes in with this like condescending attitude. And, I later on found out why she acts the way she does, which is inappropriate. Like, if she knows that you're not married and you're having kids, she has this attitude like you're just the worst person in the world, which is not good. Like, who are you to judge somebody for a decision that they made? Like, nobody. So she walks in and she just looking at me. Then, what really ticks me off is she says, "Well, where's the baby?" And I'm looking at her like, "Really?" So then she says, "Well, when did everything happen?" And at this point, I'm already irritated because I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I've been here since Monday. I just want to get in my bed. So I'm like, okay. So, she came in and she barely checked me. Like, she acted like she didn't want to be bothered. And I really wanted to say, well, what are you here for? But this is her job. But I'm like, okay. So I let that go. But mind you, they had me in a room specifically for mothers who had lost. The part of the hospital I was in was in the back of the labor and delivery floor, and it was a room that was designated just for mothers who had lost their child. And there was a card on the door specifically for mothers who had lost their child. So I didn't understand why she would come in the room asking me those foolish questions. So I got discharged, went home. My boyfriend came over. We had been together for the rest of the week. He's making sure I was okay. I'm making sure he's okay, because we're both dealing with the loss of a child. We've never dealt with this. So we're just trying to be there for each other. Friday, we had to go to the funeral home to make, the arrangements for my son, which is something that I never would have thought I would have to be doing. But, we did it. We got through it. But that same day, I experienced my very first anxiety attack, which was out of this world. I'm sitting on the couch with my boyfriend, and all these thoughts start going through my mind. And out of nowhere, my heart just starts beating so fast, and I'm just so worked up. So I'm like, babe, take me to the ER. So I get to the ER. They let me know that, you were having heart palpitations, but that was a result of anxiety from everything that just happened. And so ever since then, I've been dealing with anxiety. Like, the thought of my son sends me into a whirlwind of emotions. And so, I've been, trying to, manage that, because, stress and anxiety, it'll kill you. And I've been dealing with so many different things, physically, like arm pain, chest pain, leg pain, foot pain, headaches, all this stuff. And, I've been also learning that, that it's okay to not be okay. Like, you don't have to be strong all the time. And I'm a person that I'm trying to be strong for everybody else, but I always neglect what Tia needs. And it's just like, okay, Tia, you have to take a moment. Like, if you have to cry, cry. And I have moments where I'll just sit in my room and I'll cry, because just like, you have to release that. And I've been learning how to release, because it's not good to keep it bottled in, because once you explode, you explode. And I don't want to do that, because, all people want to do is be there. But it's like, I have to let them be there, because, me and my boyfriend, more recently, we've been getting to little, I wouldn't say arguments, but I would call them more disagreements. Because, he'll say, "What's wrong, babe?" And I'll be like, "Nothing," knowing that I'm feeling like I'm about to lose my mind. And it's like, I had to learn, like, he wants to be there. And it's like, I need to let him be there. And, and also being there for him too, because, we're both dealing with the same thing. And so I've been learning how to, be more open about my feelings. I decided to start therapy, which is something I never thought I would do. I decided to start therapy, and I start that in May. So I'm really excited about that. It's something different for me. I've never really talked to someone, like a professional, but I'm excited for that. My doctor, shout out to my doctor, Dr. Dormandy at Buffalo Medical Group. He's very attentive to my needs. Like, I've been seeing him almost every week since I lost my son. And he has been amazing. Like, we come up with plans to help me get through this. He'll text me from time to time to make sure I'm okay. And more recently, I was diagnosed with a panic disorder, and I had my first panic attack, which was crazy. Before being diagnosed, I was laying here one night, And, you know, the thought of everything, like I kept having flashbacks of everything that happened on March 23rd. And out of nowhere, I kid you not, nowhere, it's like I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like it was caving in. I'm like, okay, Tia, calm down. So I had to like sit there and talk to myself to talk myself down. I'm like, okay, Tia, chill out, chill out, chill out, chill out, chill out. So, you know, eventually, like around 1 and 2 in the morning, I had calmed down. Like, and I'm like, okay, go to sleep. It's okay. Go to sleep. So I'm like, okay, I went to sleep. The next day, I ended up meeting with my doctor, and you know, we ended up coming with the plan, and that's when I was diagnosed with this panic disorder. And you know, I was prescribed medication to take to, you know, not to make everything go away, but to level me out a little bit. And you know, it's nothing wrong with medicine. It's like, you know, I trust in God, but sometimes, you know, I need a little bit something more to help, you know, balance me out up here in my mind, because you know I trust God. I trust him totally. But you know, doctors are here for a reason. I don't trust I don't depend on the medicine totally, but it helps me achieve a level of, you know, mellowness. Achieve a level of mellowness that I need sometimes. So, you know, that's been helping with that. And, you know, they gave me antidepressants, and they also prescribed me Xanax. So, you know, I take those as needed. And, you know, I haven't been needing them often because I've been doing better with expressing myself. And, you know, that helps me because once, you know, if I don't say anything, that's when I get worked up. But sometimes my mom will just, you know, stand at the door and be like, what's wrong? And the next thing I know, I'm screaming, crying. And it's like, you know, I need that sometimes. And, it, you know, I have to learn that it's okay. And so I also, you know, want to give a shout out to a young lady who is near and dear to my heart. Her name is Shania. And throughout this whole process, you know, she checks on me. You know, we've been talking because she's experienced the same thing too. So, you know, we've been talking, and like she'll just randomly text me like, hey, how's your day going? You know, I'll text her like, how you feeling? And, you know, it's always nice to have someone who can relate to what you're going through. And, you know, it's like, you know, you have somebody who knows, because it's like, you know, people will be like, oh, I understand. And it's like, if you've never been in the situation, you don't understand. And it's like, you know, losing different family, but it's like when it's your child, it hits different. So it's like I have to learn, like, you know, to let people be there for me, and also to be there for others who, you know, who maybe experience the same thing. So that's what I've been doing lately. Me and her have been talking about coming up with a group per se for, you know, younger mothers who have, you know, experienced loss, whether it be through miscarriage or infancy loss or stillbirth, you know, because we all need to be there for, you know, one another. And I also want to talk about depression because, you know, depression is a main thing. You know, I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm trying to, you know, get to the point. You know, I experienced, you know, my bouts of depression even prior to this, and that's the reason I have this tattoo, which is a mental health awareness tattoo. And I'll insert a better picture up here. But back when I was in college, I was severely depressed, like to the point where I attempted suicide. And it was just a lot. Like, it just felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. And, you know, I'm so thankful for, you know, a praying mother, like a praying mother, a praying grandma, or praying grandmothers, you know, my mom's mom and my dad's mom, because, you know, I was going through like depressed to the point where I would just sit in the room in the dark, wouldn't eat, wouldn't talk to nobody. And then I got to the point where I couldn't stop eating. And so it was like I went through so many phases of depression, but, you know, I had to learn that I can't stay there. You know, I couldn't allow myself to stay in that place. And, you know, anybody that's dealing with depression, you know, it's normal. It's a normal human feeling, but you can't allow yourself to stay in that place. And that's what I had to repeatedly tell myself, like, Tia, you know, it's okay to not be okay, but also don't let yourself stay in this place either, because if you do, it's like you drive yourself insane. So, you know, even now I have to tell myself, because I had a moment the other day where I felt like I hit like the low of lows. Like I felt like, okay, I give up. And it's like, you know what? No, you don't. It's like you got to bounce back. And that's what I had to do. I had to sit there. You know, I turned on my music. And, you know, the thing that's been helping me now is like reading my Bible. It's like it's scriptures in there for every human feeling. It's like, you know, doing that has been, you know, keeping me in my right mind. Because, you know, without that, I don't know where I would be. Without God, I don't know, you know, where I would be. And, you know, I want to ask, you know, Oh, I'm so sorry. I want to actually say this too. If you're dealing with, you know, bouts of suicidal thoughts, if you're dealing with depression, I'm going to insert the number to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, because you know it's people out there that really deal with this stuff and they don't know how to voice their opinions, which then leads them to killing themselves. You know, everybody, I want everybody to know that you're worth it. You're worth more. Your life is worth living. Like, there's no reason for you to want, you know, I'm not going to say there's no reason for you to want to give up, but there's somebody out there that's depending on you, that's counting on you. It's like you don't know what impact that you have on someone's life. Somebody may need you in ways that you never knew that they needed you. So I'm going to insert that number up here, and it's just like, if you ever feel that you're headed in that route, call that number. Or even if there's somebody close to you, or even me, like if you need to talk to me, you know, just put it in my comments or something. Put your Instagram or Facebook in the comments and I'll hit you up. I'm always here. And even for anybody who isn't dealing with this, like if you have any encouraging words for anybody who may be dealing with loss, who may be dealing with anxiety, who may be dealing with depression, leave a nice comment in the comments. It's like, you know, just say a few encouraging words or two, because you never know. People may never say anything, but you never know who's reading what. You never know who's watching. And so I also wanted to show you guys, before I end this video, this little box that I got from the hospital. And in this box is his blanket. They gave me an SD card with all the pictures on it. His footprints. His little hat, so tiny. His other blanket. And I also keep all my pregnancy tests in here. I took so many because the first one I was like, okay, mind you, the lines are there. I took it and I'm like, I don't know. So this was the last one I took. And this one was like, okay, Tia, get it together. You're pregnant. And that's that. So I also got this candle, which came in the box also from a family who lost their child too. And I also keep my sonogram pictures in here too. And you guys already seen those, but I'll show them again. Just showing he was a boy. And in this picture, I'm like, wow, this kid looks just like his father, because my son looks just like his dad. And, you know, that's that. So I just wanted to come on here to give a few encouraging words, because, you know, it's like you never know who's going through what. And, you know, it may be somebody out there who may have experienced infant loss, or who may have had, you know, a miscarriage, and, you know, may not be able to put those feelings into words. And, you know, I was at a place where I'm like, okay, I don't want to, you know, talk about this, because, you know, this is still fresh for me. But I woke up and I'm like, okay, there is somebody out there that needs to hear this. There's somebody out there who, you know, may be at their wits end, that needs to hear about somebody else who's overcome. Oh, let me put these down. Who's, you know, overcoming depression, overcoming anxiety, overcoming, you know, going through panic attacks, overcoming suicidal thoughts. You know, it's all obtainable, and it's all achievable if you put your mind to it, and if you put your trust in God. Because, you know, I'm sorry, all of our hope and all of our trust is in God. And, you know, now I'm going through a season of my life where it's just like I have to have like faith, like crazy faith, because at one point it's like, you know, I was doubting. I'm like, God, you know, how, why? But, you know, I'm like, okay, I'll never know why. I'll never know, you know, the answers. But, you know, I just know that I have to have, you know, faith, like faith. And that's what I've been having, putting all my faith and all my hope and all my trust in God. You know, I have moments where I'm angry. I'm telling you, they're all human feelings. Angry, like when I lost my son, pissed with God. I'm like, God, you gave me him and now you're taking him. But I learned that those are all human emotions. So, you know, I had to tell myself that, Tia, it's okay to be angry, but don't stay angry. Like, you know, I have these conversations with God, like how I'm talking right now. Like, I'll sit and talk to him, like, what's up? Like, you know, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to, you know, get through this season of my life? And, you know, I'll be honest, I have moments where I'm nervous to, you know, conceive again. Or even like seeing baby stuff sometimes, you know, does something to me. So it's just like I'm going through a moment of healing, I would say. you know, dealing with human emotions, because you know it's normal. I expected to have my son. He's no longer here, so seeing baby stuff, you know, even I'm gonna be honest, seeing babies sometimes, or people having babies, you know, at one point was just like a lot for me to take in. And so now I'm just in a place where I'm like, okay, Tia, you know, you have to go through this. You know, this, everything happens for a reason. You're in this season for a reason. So I think that's it for me. And you know, this video, I did this to encourage someone, and I hope that it does. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and turn on your post notifications. And I'm going to, you know, take you guys through my therapy journey. I'll come back on here and, you know, give an update video of, you know, how everything's going, and, you know, update you guys on how, you know, I'm doing, how Devon's doing, how we're both coping with everything. So that's it for me. Peace, guys.
So let's drive 100 miles south of the sunrise. Wanna feel high.